Sheryl Swoopes is once again doing something extremely petty in order to discredit Caitlin Clark's greatness. Now, hating is a currency these days, and it is one of the surefire ways to get attention online. However, Sheryl Swoopes has taken it to another level recently. Not only has she been dismissive about Caitlin's accomplishments, but she has glossed over her record-breaking achievements as if they were nothing. We have never seen someone turn a blind eye to this level. Now, by the end of this video, you will see why Sheryl Swoopes is losing her credibility by hating on Caitlin Clark. At first, it seemed as if Swoopes was merely testing the young superstar, maybe playing some mind games with her to gauge just how great Caitlin can really be. Now, we've seen this before. Older vets want the younger stars to prove themselves to them. Diana Taurasi had a little of this going on too. But once Caitlin proved herself to Taurasi, she quickly credited Caitlin and gave her flowers.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. What Caitlin's been able to do in her short career so far has just been nothing short of remarkable. And the one thing that I really love about her, she loves the game. You can tell she's put the work in. And even, throughout, her short WNBA career, it's been a lot of pressure, a lot of things thrown at her. And, she keeps showing up and keeps getting better every single game. So her future is super bright.
However, Swoopes hasn't done the same. In fact, she has doubled down on her hate, which really calls into question why the former three-time WNBA MVP has an issue with Caitlin. In fact, her hate even caused a rather awkward moment on air when the Dallas Wings took on the Las Vegas Aces on NBA TV. While Clark obviously wasn't a part of the game that Swoopes was calling, she did make a brief cameo during a stoppage in play, as play-by-play man Ron Thulin noted the WNBA's Players of the Week. As Thulin called attention to Clark's impressive week in which she averaged 25 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds, Swoopes remained noticeably silent, not saying a word until play resumed. Now, while Thulin was the one who started the read, there were multiple dead spots in the brief segment that one would have expected the analyst's voice to fill. Typically, the play-by-play person tells you what is happening, and the analyst provides his or her insight, which did not happen in this instance.
Gotta go to the players of the week. Both of them had outstanding weeks, and they're the next two opponents to the Wings. Caitlin Clark will be here on Sunday for the week, averaged 25, and Avisa Collier averaged over 25. And of course, the Lynx here Friday at 6:30 on Ion. And then the Fever come here at 3 o'clock before a sellout crowd. Tough stretch for Dallas.
So it looks like Swoopes is allergic to giving Caitlin her credit. Sheryl Swoopes recently spoke on her podcast, Queens of the Court, where she talked about the improvement of Indiana Fever, crediting the break rather than Caitlin's incredible play.
I do want to say this because we talked about the Olympic break, who it could help, who it could hurt. And I've seen the complete opposite with two teams, the 7th and 8th place team. I think the Olympic break really helped Indiana.
Absolutely.
Since coming back from the Olympic break, the Fever have been dominant. The Indiana Fever versus Seattle Storm game was incredibly entertaining. In that game, Caitlin broke multiple records, both franchise and league-wide. The Fever avoided a season sweep from the Seattle Storm with an impressive 92-75 victory. And all eyes were on the game, not only because it was a highly skilled matchup, but because Caitlin only needed 2 assists to break a 26-year-old WNBA record. The rookie came into the game with 223 assists, just behind Tisha Penicheiro's WNBA record of 224, which was set in 30 games with the Sacramento Monarchs in 1998. And naturally, she broke that record before halftime. In the first half against the Mercury, Caitlin tallied 16 points on 55.6% shooting, which included 3 triples with 5 assists and 4 rebounds. Just complete and utter dominance. She also made some WNBA history in the process. Caitlin became the first player in WNBA history to score at least 450 points and tally at least 200 assists in a rookie season. Only 5 other players in league history have achieved that feat in any other year of their careers. Caitlin finished the game with 29 points, 5 rebounds, and 10 assists on 50% shooting from the field. And despite all of this, Swoopes refused to give Caitlin any credit. In fact, she didn't even mention the rookie when speaking on Indiana's rise in the standings. Swoopes showed how petty she can really be when she decided to credit players like Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston, who have also been great since the team's return from the Olympic break, but there was never a mention of the Fever's star point guard. She believes that Indiana will keep moving up the standings if they are able to keep playing at this level, especially with Hull, Mitchell, and Boston's success.
Shout out to Lexi Hull. I'm a big Lexi Hull fan. Watch her in AU. Lexi Hull shot the leather off the ball in their game against Seattle and just couldn't miss. Kelsey Mitchell is just stroking. She is just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston, almost a triple-double.
Conveniently, she forgot about Caitlin's historic record. Heck, Swoopes gave Angel Reese a shout-out instead for losing a game.
Before I get into that, I am going to say this. Shout out to Angel Reese, even in a loss. Listen, 20 boards.
It's crazy.
20 boards. Say what you want to say about how she's getting all these rebounds. You can get 20 rebounds. I don't care if you're rebounding your own.
Pretty petty. Now, this is nothing new. Swoopes has been hating on Caitlin since she was in college. In fact, she said that Angel Reese's game would translate better to the pros than Caitlin's.
You're trying to come take my job. Like, nah, it's not going to be that easy. So will Caitlin Clark be a good pro? Absolutely. Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now? Immediately? Absolutely not. Not gonna happen.
Okay. Now, this was a ridiculous take at the time because Caitlin was regularly making history in college, and this take has aged like milk. Now, typically, rookies take a couple of years to figure things out. This includes Olympians like Jewel Lloyd, Jackie Young, Sabrina Ionescu, all of whom which took 3 or 4 seasons to get to the all-star level production after being #1 picks. Even prolific college scorers like Kelsey Plum and Kelsey Mitchell, who were the top 2 scorers in NCAA women's basketball history before Clark, did not burst onto the scene as bucket getters in the WNBA. Plum and Mitchell averaged 8.5 and 12.7 points in their rookie seasons, each shooting 34.6% from the field as they acclimated to the higher level of play. Meanwhile, Caitlin is averaging 18 and 8 with nearly 6 boards a game, so it seems like her game translated to the WNBA just fine. Not to mention that she made the All-Star team and has resurrected the Indiana franchise. But hey, we can all have some bad takes. You can't hit on everything. However, Swoopes also showed that she has an agenda against Caitlin early on because she claimed Clark got her NCAA points record via shots in volume rather than quality, and that she needed more time to beat Kelsey Plum's score before she later apologized for uninformed thoughts. On top of that, she just simply lied several times when she was trying to downplay Caitlin's achievements in college.
So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
What Swoopes is talking about here is the women's all-time scoring record that Caitlin set, and in doing so, broke Kelsey Plum's previous record. However, Caitlin actually broke the record in less than 4 years, so Swoopes was hating for no reason, but it did not end just there.
Like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old. Like, you should be killing them. Because you've been doing it a lot longer than they have.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but I know she can come back another year.
Here, she is blatantly lying by saying that Caitlin was 25 years old when she was dominating in college, when in fact, well, Caitlin's only 22. So at least if you're going to hate, you should do it in a clever manner so that maybe it's not so obvious. Stephen A. Smith also called her out for her extremely poor take.
Clark and the Fever currently lead the WNBA in average game attendance and per game TV viewership. But despite the attendance and viewership records, there seems to be some haterade in the league in regards to Clark starting with WNBA legend Sheryl Swoopes herself.
But it does not stop there. Swoopes continued to misinform the public about Caitlin in order to push her own agenda.
Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Carry on.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
Again, blatant lies. At the time, Caitlin was taking 22.3 shots a game, which is actually lower than the number of shots that Swoopes took in her college tenure. So it's no hyperbole to say that Caitlin Clark is putting together one of the most legendary rookie seasons of all time. It seems as if you were a Caitlin Clark believer, you are on the right side of history. Not only has she lived up to the crazy high expectations, but she has surpassed them in many ways. It is safe to say that she entered the WNBA season with higher expectations than any other rookie. Right away, people expected her not only to dominate, but carry the league on her shoulders. Most rookies come into the league and ride the bench for a while and work on their skill set. A few special cases might start right away, and then there are the ultra special cases who not only start, but make a big impact. Well, Caitlin went beyond this. She was tasked with leading the Indiana Fever back to relevance after a 7-year playoff drought, along with carrying the WNBA to new heights. What other rookies had to take on such responsibilities? Yet she still has haters. Swoopes cannot deny it at this point because people have begun to pull out the receipts. Jealous and envy are never a good look, especially when you yourself were once great. You had your time in the limelight, well, now it's someone else's turn. LeBron James had Skip Bayless, and Caitlin Clark, well, she has Sheryl Swoopes.